Not only is PrizePicks a very easy way to make some money while watching your favorite sport, it also has one of the best bonuses in the space. If you build one single entry for $5, they will give you $50, 50 instantly, that you can use on whatever you want. That is $50 instantly. I'm about to give you an entry. You can make that your $5 entry. You can make any entry you want. Throw $5 at it, have $50 in your account instantly ready to go. The only thing you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/PrizePicks. Use promo code WWP and you immediately qualify for that bonus. WeWantPicks.com/PrizePicks, promo code WWP. I'm going to focus on UFC Macau. Some people calling it UFC China. But you can see across the top, this is every single sport, and you can mix and match sports to build a perfect entry. You're heading into the weekend. You can get some UFC, mix it with some college football and some Sunday football, and really get yourself quite the payday. But let's go ahead and focus on this event. It's a little tricky because there's a million names in here you have never seen and may likely never see again. But I do think I found some solid spots that I believe in. We are going to start with the significant strikes, and we're going to hammer the ladies. If we go Fang Xiao Kan, I'm going to go less than 67.5. I am going to trust my gut and assume that she's going to wrestle. She can be a nonstop wrestler. We have seen fights where she is just diving at legs, working control, and staying busy enough to not get stood up, but not busy enough to cruise past 67.5. That's just a gut feeling. If you run through her fights, you typically get a low-volume fighter on her feet or a control-style wrestler, not an aggressive fighter just hammering away. So I think we're going to be good with the under 67.5 significant strikes. And we have the exact same logic, but for very different reasons, for Quang Wang. Quang Wang at 71.5 significant strikes seems like a crazy number. She just knocked out Victoria Leonardo cold. Sent her right hand, put her down, knocked her out bad. This fight is likely more of the same. We're either going to get one of two fights here. We're going to get Wang Kong or Quang Wang, depending on what site you're looking at, knocking out Gabriela Fernandez, or Gabriela, terrified of the striking, holding Wang against the cage the whole time and trying to avoid any sort of meaningful exchange. Both of those outcomes result in fewer than 71.5 significant strikes. So I do think we are good with the less on significant strikes for the ladies for very different reasons, but kind of the same reason. They're not going to be high volume strikers in their fight. Kong specifically, she might be high volume, but if she is high volume and she's landing at high volume, she likely gets a finish before she gets to this number. The rest of these lines are tricky. I can't touch the co-main event. The main event's also tricky. Petr Yan, 95.5. The more makes sense. But really, if we get Figueiredo coming forward like a Nurmagomedov, as we have seen him do recently, we may not get a back-and-forth striking battle. The rest of these we're going to leave alone. Loner Kavanaugh can probably get to this number if we end up in a decision, but that dude's a finishing machine, and so is his opponent. So we're going to leave the rest of these alone. If we go to fight minutes, we don't have a lot to choose from, and I'm going to leave these alone as well. Carlos Ulberg fight, in all likelihood, that fight is over in under 10 minutes. Zhang Mingyang is also probably over in the first round. But Carlos is fighting the best person he has ever fought before. So lots of unknowns. We'll leave it alone. Zhang Mingyang, also a tricky spot. It has to be under 1 round. And while Ozzy Diaz, his opponent, is just a blown-up middleweight who can be finished, I'm going to leave these alone. Let's head over to Fantasy Score. I do like the more on Zhang Mingyang. I think he is going to win. I think he is going to win by finish. And if he wins by finish early, we cruise past this number. If it takes a little longer, he may have a couple of knockdowns. There may even be takedowns, submission attempts. So I think we're going to get some activity here, and I think either a late finish or an early finish, we are safe with the over 118.5 fantasy points. That's why I like the fantasy points more than the round line. Rest of these are super tricky. What I typically like to do is find a favorite that is going to win by finish, or find a favorite that I think is going to lose and do the less on them. A lot of these are tricky because I don't necessarily trust that any of these guys are going to get smoked or blow through their opponents outside of Zhang Mingyang. If we do go to takedowns, we have Yu Su Young or Su Young Yu, and we're going to do the more on his takedowns. He is a non-stop grappler. That's what he is. Just takedown, 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 over and over and over and over and over. So I think the non-stop wrestling will get him 2-3 takedowns. You go through his fight history, he's had fights with 8 takedowns. So I think we're good there. I think he gets the takedowns. We only need 3, and then we're good to go. I considered the Petr Yan more than 1.5. He is a gentleman that has gotten more than 1.5 in many fights before. But with the unknowns of this fight, with him fighting a former world champion who has been wrestling like crazy lately, I'm just going to leave that fight alone. This is the entry. I do already have it built, so let's go ahead and take a look. We've got the 4-pick flex play. I always do the flex play. These are fist fights and anything can happen. You can't really rely. If you want to slice and dice and then do a 2-person power play, that 3X's your money. So you only need to get 1 in every 3 correct to be okay. You get 2 out of 3, you're up good money, and you can just rinse and repeat that cycle. That is the beauty of these high payouts. But we got Xiao Fang, we did less on her significant strikes. Quang Wang, less on her significant strikes. Zhang Mingyang, higher on his fantasy points. And Su Young Yu, more on his takedown line. This is my entry. If you want to go ahead and use this, fantastic. If you want to build your own entry, also fantastic. Get your free money. WeWantPicks.com/PrizePicks, promo code WW.